Topic 7 is all about execution, from startup to sustaining your venture. So you start with an innovative idea. Well, ideas are great, but they're relatively cheap. Like Thomas Edison said, it's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Execution is everything in a business. But you have to start up. There are kind of two models. One is kind of the testing of the waters model, where you start small and evolve. That's kind of safe, but slow, and that's fine for like one person or a family business, whatever. Or you can get your venture capital or your loan, build everything, hire a staff, get your marketing strategy, and launch everything at once. Running a venture has risk. You can't avoid risk, but you can minimize it. So what are some strategies for minimizing? One of my favorites is to pilot an idea. So when I was a classroom teacher, I piloted things in my classroom. If they succeeded, sometimes they were scaled up to the building or the school district. You can have a partial venture. So how did Amazon start? Just by selling books. Millions at first? No, thousands. But they grew into one market after another, starting off with a partial business. Or maybe a shared risk model. So most of my innovations have been within larger institutions. So the risk was really borne by the larger institution. I bore very little risk. To analyze the risk, you can do a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So assuming you survive the startup, you're going to scale your venture up as it becomes successful, the market grows, there's a greater demand, and you might think, oh, that's nirvana. It brings new headaches and new challenges. These are natural problems, but you need to anticipate them because scaling up is hard. Hiring new staff, training them, developing new products, marketing, advertising to new markets, and evolving your venture as the situation changes. A good example is the nation of the United States. It started up 250 years ago in kind of a bloody startup phase. And then for centuries, it's been scaling up. And one of the issues now is how do we sustain the health of this wonderful institution? Do we want to sustain the growth, sustain the health? If you're a nonprofit and maybe you're funded by a grant, the grant is spent, how do you sustain your funding? Maybe your business is funded by a venture capital infusion. How do you sustain the funding you need to grow? Sustaining a business or a venture may involve some personal sacrifice. So after putting all his energies into Amazon, Jeff Bezos announced he's divorcing his wife of 22 years. Running a venture is a strain on personal life, your time, the time with your children. Maybe you just want to do something else. And the challenge of sustaining and thriving in an evolving environment. Again, the U.S. nation, think of the changes it has experienced in the past 250 years. But at some point, there may be an exit. So a venture capitalist would love if your business is sold for some huge profit after 10 years and they get their chunk and take it to the bank. Or maybe it's a failing business like Sears. They try to sell it, fail. Maybe they're going into bankruptcy. Donald Trump has gone through bankruptcy, 6 of them, I guess. Or maybe you're a serial entrepreneur. You've created something, you've sold it for a bundle so that you can create something else. So one of the questions is, how might your venture fail? If you can anticipate ways that it may fail, you may be able to protect you and your venture against failure. And the question of, should it end or should it go on forever? So a company like Amazon or Apple or Disney, They want to go on forever. They don't foresee an end. Uh, Maybe the leaders of those companies want an exit. So people like Bill Gates and Jack Ma, having built a massive successful company, got out in their 50s so that they could enjoy life and contribute in other ways. So that's kind of the timeline, the storyline of a venture, from innovative idea through startup, scale up, and possibly exit. Uh, if you think about what the possible storylines of your venture may be, that can prepare you for the possible successes or failures.